All right. I don't know if it picked that up, but Lauren was just singing for us. Thank you for serenading us.
Yeah.
You
Beautiful
like that?
voice. Yeah.
Intro music.
That was my
Yeah,
Little Mermaid
exactly.
intro.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
no budget, so we can't afford to play intro
Yeah.
music. So Lauren will just kind of hum
Lauren
and
is, yeah.
ah. Yeah, you don't want me doing it, believe me. You guys, you want to know something fun? I got kicked out. I was not allowed to join choir class because
Shut up.
my teacher in fifth grade said you will stick out like a sore thumb.
Ouch.
I kid you not. So I knew from that moment I was never going to be a singer. Um, which is it's all right. It's fine, you know. And then I wanted to join band because if you join band, you got to go to Disney World. That was the only reason everybody would join band.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to join band either because I can't figure out how to read music. I don't get it. I'm terrible with it. I played drums for a little bit. I got kicked out of choir class. Like, so I'm not a musically inclined person. So you guys know that about me now. Okay. And Matt,
Now,
Wow.
I know you are.
would you say that's what caused the start of your drinking was that they told you? I'm just
Right.
kidding.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah.
fifth grade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
you're
tell you.
Damn, you got an early start.
well, it kind of
Yeah.
ties in nicely with what we're going to talk about today, and that's
It's true.
changing your identity, shifting your identity, because right when I think we all carry around an identity of who we are, and we get into this place of like this is me now, this is my identity. And one of the biggest things that I did on my journey, and I, you know, you guys did as well, and I think it's really important to do is you have to be willing to shift and change your identity in order to get a different life, right? And we're going to dive deep into this, but identity plays such a big role in you know, not only just drinking but how we feel about ourselves. I know for me as a drinker, um and as a person, like my identity was wrapped up in my career. Like I didn't know myself outside of that. I was a radio DJ, and the thought of being anything else, I didn't know what to do. That scared the hell out of me. How are people gonna? They're not gonna like me unless they think I'm a cool radio person. Like that was so wrapped up in my identity, and I know that I was drinking more and more because I was afraid of that. Like I didn't know what the identity looks like, and it can be an intimidating thing, a scary thing, especially if you're older in life and you've done something for so long. You've gotten into this habit of like, this is who I am. It can be hard to imagine yourself in any sort of different light, right? And so
Yeah.
I know for me that's what it was. And when I decided to quit drinking, it was like, how do I do this? What do I need to do? And I realized that that's what I needed to do. I got to change my identity. I have to become that person that loves themselves, loves their body, wants to take care of themselves. They want to be healthy. They want to be present for their family, for their, you know, for their child. They want to be this best version of themselves, and that person doesn't put poison into his body. And for me that's where it started, and I had to start shifting to that and go, you know what, who am I from now on? Well, I don't know it all, but I know for one thing that I'm a non-drinker. And I just kept repeating that in my head. I am a non-drinker. I'm a person who doesn't drink. What would a non-drinker do? Right. And I just kept saying that. If I was in a position where somebody puts a drink in my hand, what would a non-drinker do? Well, they wouldn't drink. They'd say, no, thanks. I don't put poison into my body. They would reject it, you know, because all this fear comes up when we quit drinking. Like, well, what if I'm in this situation? What if I'm at a wedding? What if it's happy hour and I'm invited out with the coworkers? What am I going to do? Well, if you're a person who's a non-drinker, and furthermore, a person who's a happy and healthy non-drinker, then you can go to happy hour. You can go to a wedding. You can do all these other things that you used to do as a drinker, but you just don't drink because that's now your identity. And I'll go deeper into this a little bit more, but I want to hear from you guys. Like, Lauren, what about for you? Does this resonate? I mean, did you change your identity?
Oh yeah, I was known as the wino. Like that was my entire personality was me with my wine glass, really. And everybody knew me as a drinker. Like you knew you weren't coming to my house without getting served a glass of wine. But what we talk a lot with our clients about, and I was talking to a newer client yesterday about rebranding herself. And really, it's about building a new life and like, who are you as a person? And like you said, you were a non-drinker, a non-drinker, a non-drinker. And for her, it's like rebranding. Is that on brand for you to be out drinking like a sloppy drunk? Or is it on brand for you to have something really healthy at dinner when you're out with your girlfriends, because she's like an uber healthy person. She's got like certifications in health and she works out all the time and she watches everything she puts in her mouth. So like this is off brand for you. This doesn't even align with who you are. And once I said that, she was like, that's so true. Like, why would people expect me to drink? They would actually expect the opposite. I'm like, bingo, because that's the brand you're building. As you get more healthy and more healthy, like people would never look at you and be like, oh my God, you don't drink. Why? They would know. Inherently, we all know healthy does not equal drinking. So they would understand, and she wouldn't even have to say anything. But to your point, what you said is, what if I go to a wedding, they offer me mayonnaise? Well, I don't like mayonnaise. So who gives a crap that it's being offered at a wedding? I still don't want it. So what's the big difference? What's the difference between that? And if you don't want it anyway, which is what we teach our clients, and we help them discover about themselves that they truly don't want it anyway. And now we just have to get over the fact that we've been pouring it in every 24 hours and get over that kind of withdrawal period. But it's not who you are. And so one of the things that we do with our clients is the first thing we do is we get rid of the drinking, right? They get rid of the drinking and then we start building the life. We start putting blocks back together. So you've been isolating yourself so that you could drink how you want to. Now the drinking's gone. Hey, let's plan some outings with some friends. Let's rekindle some relationships. Let's find things in life to bring you joy so that you don't need alcohol. And then it's like, of course she doesn't want that. She doesn't eat mayonnaise. She doesn't like it. It's fine. And nobody's bothering you about it. So that's kind of my take on it. And just if we get the alcohol out first, we can start building who is that new Chris? Because you couldn't imagine life as not being a radio personality, but yet here you are. And life is so much better because you rebuilt bigger, better, clearer, because you had the bandwidth to say, what else can I do? So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to a wedding if they serve mayonnaise, by the way. That's
Right?
weird.
That is
I'm
weird.
not about that.
I mean, they can put it on something. You still have to eat the sandwich, okay? I don't mean like a bowl of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
That's what I was picturing, like a ladle. You have like instead of the punch bowl, you got like a mayonnaise bowl. Just like,
Okay, do you guys have Chipotle in Canada, Matt?
yes, we do.
You know how they do the ladle with the sour cream as they like slosh it across the bowl? That's what you just made me think of. But now replace that with
Oh,
mayonnaise and we're
man.
all
Yeah.
about to be sick.
Mayonnaise
Yeah,
is
that's right.
mayonnaise is a polarizing topic, though. I mean, it really is.
It sure is.
You
That could
either
be a
love
whole
it or
nother.
you hate it. Yeah,
That's right. Could be a whole nother podcast there.
And,
Yeah.
Have you guys?
and literally, I have a story. It's very traumatic from my childhood that involves mayonnaise, and I really can't get into it here, but
no.
it's so.
Does it tie in
If
with the
people who
band
know
camp?
me, kind of. It's close. People who know, close friends of mine, if you say what's the mayonnaise story, they'll get a chuckle out of it. But again, we'll save that for a different time. It involved a random phone call and me picking up as a young child and mayonnaise. Actually, Miracle Whip. We were a Miracle Whip family, and that's all I'll say.
Miracle Whip.
Maybe that's when my drinking started. Who knows? I have no idea. But there's a story there somewhere.
Learning so much about you.
Anyways, I don't mind mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is okay as long as it's used in a not overdone. So, but we're not talking about mayonnaise today. We're talking about
You like mayonnaise in moderation.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Right? Everybody's all about moderation. Well, that doesn't work with alcohol for most people, but mayonnaise in moderation, I like that.
That's it.
But yeah, so a lot of good points there, and I don't know. I got so sidetracked with the mayonnaise thing.
The mayonnaise thing, isn't it? Yes. Yeah.
But
have you guys seen? Have you guys seen? There's like a viral TikTok clip of a stand-up comedian. I'm not sure if this is where you got it from, Lauren, but it's like he's basically going. He's like, alcohol is the one thing you have to explain that you don't do,
Yes.
and then he's like, well, why you don't eat mayonnaise? Why don't you eat mayonnaise? And the guy, just the way that he's. Have you seen this?
Jim
Yes, I've seen it.
Gaffigan. Yeah.
Is that who it is? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that one's hilarious. I'm not sure if that's just subliminally. That's why you brought up mayonnaise, but anybody that hasn't watched
that's
it,
exactly
yeah,
why. Because I heard
it's
that one time
fucking
and thought
hilarious.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I
such
love
a
Jim
good bit.
Gaffigan. Yeah.
That's the
Although
first time I've seen him. Yeah.
He's drinking now. Because that whole thing was I'm not a drinker, and he now has his own brand of like whiskey or something like that.
What?
And it pisses me off because I really like him.
Yeah.
But his whole thing is, well, I had to start drinking because I have teenagers, and I'm like, oh my God, like I get it, it's the comedy bit, but this is that programming that we often talk about.
Yeah.
And then we buy into this bullshit belief that oh shit, teenagers are tough, man. The only way to get through it is with alcohol. So it's just really unfortunate when that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, it's
I'm super turned off by that, because what you're telling me is that you were on a platform like telling me how great it is to be a non-drinker, and it's even in your comedy bit about the mayonnaise thing, and now you promote a company that pays you to drink. Like
Mm.
I would cancel his ass quickly. I'm
Yeah,
done with
it's
him
Oh
now.
man, now we're taking shots at this guy.
oh yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
but and I
Sorry,
wonder
I'm
if
done.
I
Because
wonder
Yeah.
if
somebody
it's
else
even
did
true
that
if he
too.
if he even does drink or if he's just doing it for the endorsement money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Doing it for the money.
yeah, but
But
yeah,
you shouldn't be promoting a product that you are convinced kills people and no longer partake in. So anyway,
yeah.
there's
Well,
another celebrity that
Well,
does that too. It's a woman. I can't remember. Is it J Lo?
yeah, because J Lo doesn't drink. Yeah, and I think
She
she
has her
does
own
have her own.
company.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that always pisses me off, and especially when
yeah,
it's
The
people that I
Rock.
like The Rock. Like, yeah,
Yeah, The
he's all
Rock has
about
tequila.
mental health, but he promotes that.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and Ryan Reynolds, his wife Blake Lively doesn't drink, but they have this tequila brand and all this stuff, and it's sadly it's where the money is, and it's a big market, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
because
sure
that's
is.
we wouldn't be here talking about this if it wasn't a big market. There's a lot
Right.
of people that believe, oh, alcohol's the elixir of life, and so
Hmm.
yeah, but it is. I mean, going back to uh, and this all really kind of ties into it, right? You identify with certain people, like, oh, I like The Rock, I love The Rock, I'm a big time wrestling fan,
Hmm.
um, and so we associate with, okay, well, The Rock's promoting a tequila. Tequila equals fun. Tequila equals cool. Like
Yeah.
that becomes part of our identity, and it can be difficult to go, well, I'm going to be different. I'm going to say, even though I like all these things and I've done this and this has been a big part of my identity, I'm the fun person. I'm the whatever guy with alcohol or gal with alcohol. I have to change because if I don't, I'm going to stay wrapped up in this, and that's not going to get me where I want to be. So, what are
Totally.
your thoughts on it, Matt?
Just while you, final note on the mayonnaise thing. I just Googled this. Apparently, Jim Gaffigan has a whiskey flavored mayonnaise coming out too.
No, come
No, I'm
on.
kidding. I'm just joking around. But that would be, wouldn't that be putrid? That's got to be the ultimate level
Yeah,
of putre.
I'm
Um,
getting a little bit sick in my mouth right now as I'm thinking
right.
about that.
Yeah. So, but my thoughts on it though, like to get back to identity. So a couple things just for myself, for what happens. Like, I did the whole linear timeline that's sort of been conditioned into me and into us as far as like getting the house, getting the wife, the job, like staying at a job for 20 plus years. And just sort of without question, it was sort of this almost, I become on autopilot, really. And as soon as I removed drinking, it really revealed that to me. And that was when I finally consciously started going, who the hell am I? I guess you'd call it back in the 90s or 80s, you call it midlife crisis. I guess it's like an existential crisis. Why am I here? Right. And
Mhm.
that's what it really did. Like pulling the alcohol out of my system was like, I started listening to my body, my intuition. And it's like, who am I? Like, what am I doing in this life? What am I meant to do? And that was around the time I turned 40. And from there, that's when I actually started consciously going, okay, I loved what you said, the terminology, Lauren, rebranding. I'm like, and that's what it felt like. So really, like my journaling had a huge uptick, like writing down what I like about life, what I want more out of life, connecting dots. Okay, I'm good with this. I like doing this. Is there a way that I can like monetize that, or you know what I mean, or do more of that? So that
Mhm.
was it for me for identity. Like really digging into it is it came in that sort of a midlife existential crisis that I had. Last thing I want to say about it too is like this comes out of Atomic Habits, which is a great book about identity, and we all love it here. It's like, so there's the triangle, right? So on the top of the triangle is your identity, how you identify. So for this example, identify as a non-drinker. On the one corner of the triangle, it is beliefs, so evidence that you build up. Okay, like I've done a wedding without alcohol now, so you're starting to build up beliefs and evidence that, okay, I don't need alcohol to have fun at a wedding. Other side of the triangle is habits, so they'd be identity based habits. So what does a non-drinker do? Well, you don't drink alcohol. That's the most obvious. That's a layup. But what else do you do? There's healthier decisions you're making. You're eating better. You're not eating at 2 a.m. a McDonald's drive-through run, right? You're taking better care of your health, right? So it's this triangle that all feeds into this identity. On the top of the triangle being the identity of a non-drinker, and that can really go into if you want to learn a musical instrument, right? You will then identify as a musician. It isn't just like I'm a guitar player now. It feels cool, right? It's kind of sexy. I mean, I think it is. And then have that as a musician is at the top.
I
So what do you
wouldn't
do?
know.
Yeah, sorry to bring that up, Chris.
I
Man,
wasn't
I didn't even think
allowed.
about that. Yeah, yeah. You can
Hey,
always
listen,
change that identity.
I was gonna ask your
Yeah,
old identity, Matt. Your old
yeah.
identity was very like tortured musician, would you say? Like
Oh,
Like,
I mean, maybe in my early 20s.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, not so much. It was just, honestly, I just didn't question anything that I had done up to that point. I would say it was more just like autopilot-y, like just,
But
you
with
know
the
what I mean? And
band, like
party,
the
party mad.
alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't tortured. I was having a lot of fun, like too much fun, right? Early
Okay, so
20s though.
maybe not the
Early
tortured,
20s.
but like the alcohol for a musician, I think you've said before, is
Yeah.
like very hand in hand. Like, so it's a big part of
Yeah.
the identity, that like that lifestyle of like playing in the clubs and the drinking and the late night jam sessions and stuff.
I would say more, yeah, like party Matt or
Okay.
rock and roll lifestyle
Rock and
Matt.
roll. There you
Yeah.
go.
I
Yeah.
wasn't like super, I went through my like sort of emo-ish phase when like early 20s when I was still angry at the world, right? But you know,
Yeah.
that goes like past pretty quick.
Yeah.
Chris did that in fifth grade.
Yeah.
Fifth grade, he's punching his hand through the drum kit and yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's, yeah, I'm trying to think about, because, we're talking about identity, and it's like, yeah, I realize now that I look back, when I started drinking, I was so much more loose, and I was able, and people started liking me, and I got more friends, and I was able to just kind of have not as much insecurities and self-conscious type stuff. And so that was part of my identity too. So you think about taking that away, oh shit, that's scary, right? Well, now
Hmm.
people aren't going to like me if I'm not the fun guy that's
Yeah.
drinking with them and hanging out at concerts and stuff like that. And so that's what I think trips a lot of people up, is that how do I change the identity, because I'm so used to this one. And it can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. If you look at it as, well, let's take the fear away and let's get excited about it and go, what are the possibilities? Because you know there are a ton of possibilities, and it is going to be different than your current identity, but you have to be willing to get excited, let yourself dream, sit down, ask yourself, what do you want for life, like Matt was talking about, and really get the vision of what you want to be and step into that place. And like rebranding, like Lauren was talking about, like you get to create this superhero that you want to become and then go do it. I mean, if you really think of it that way, it's like, oh damn, that's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. And I really believe you have to do that. You have to reinvent yourself, you have to rebrand yourself. And that doesn't mean that everything about you has to change. You don't have to let everything about you go, but
Mm.
you do have to be willing to let the part of you that believes alcohol is needed in your life go. You have to let certain parts of the old you go, because otherwise they're still going to be attached to you. And you may be over here trying to create this new identity, but guess what? These old patterns, these old parts of you that you haven't let go are still going to be trying to pull you back. And I think a big thing that people miss is that letting go part of it. That part of you that says, "Oh man, I'm socially awkward if I don't have alcohol in my hand. I can't sleep if I don't drink. People aren't going to like me if I don't drink." We have to find a way to let that part of us go, because it is all BS. Every single one of us on this call, our old identity, we shifted to a new one, and guess what? We're just fine. We're a lot better than we were. We were able to shed those parts of us, and that's what I really believe that it takes.
Totally
I love
true.
it.
I have one other thing I wanted to contribute as well that I was thinking while you're talking there, Chris, is like, so, some people are like, well, I don't really know who I am without this. And like, how do I figure that out? There's a term called the golden shadow, and it's Carl Jung, I believe, came up with it. And what it is like what you admire in other people. So if there's like,
Mhm.
whether it's a celebrity, an athlete, whoever else, and there's something about them that it's not envious, like you really admire them. And so honestly, that the idea is like the qualities that you see in them is what you truly see in yourself, and that's what you aspire to be. And those people are an inspiration to you. So look at that and look at what those people are doing. And it doesn't have to be somebody that's like prominent, like, you know what I mean, like celebrity, or celebrity culture has kind of gone down by the wayside, over the last 5-10 years anyways. But, or even, what, it doesn't have to be like prominent athlete or anything, but just somebody that in your community, even, that like, wow, that person, the way that they're doing that really like hits me a certain way. And I'd love to be able to see that in myself as well. So just look at other people around you and see what qualities of those people that you inspire and that lead you to be, aspire to be something else. And that's a good, I think that's a good starting point to, so just think of that, the golden shadow. Google it if it's interesting for you.
I love
Yep.
it.
Be careful though.
Uh,
Don't Google the golden shower, because that's something completely
Ooh,
different. And
very
you got to be
different.
careful when you. That's what I thought you were going to
Yes.
say at first, and I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this
The golden
podcast has really
shower.
gone down a different
Yes. Yeah.
path than we thought.
that's a wrap,
Anyway,
y'all. We
Yeah.
gotta go.
That's it. And on that note, yeah.
actually, we do have to go. But before we go, Thank you for listening to the podcast. Give us a like, give us a review. Like that
Mhm.
really helps push this out to more people. It's great
Mhm.
when you hit the 5 stars, but if you can actually write something, hey, I'm gonna go eat a mayonnaise sandwich now after listening to this, or whatever
Woo!
it is that you
I'm gonna go join
that you
band
take,
camp.
yeah,
Yeah.
that you take away from this. Please leave it below whatever platform you're listening to this on. And if you want to work with us, I mean, why wouldn't you? Listen to how much fun we are. You're gonna have a blast. We'll send you a jar of mayonnaise. We'll talk about golden showers. I mean, it's just who wouldn't want to work with us?
Uh,
But we we do. We actually we offer a service, right? And it's called Freedom from Alcohol. It's a program, it's a mastermind that we have where we include coaching, we include hypnotherapy, we do community calls. Like we've changed people's lives. And if you're interested seriously in working with us, we would love to work with you. So you can click below. I think there'll be a link. Go to
yeah.
coachbychris.com. It's uh, you can go to getoverdrinking.com. I finally got that domain.
Oh,
Nice.
look at this
So
guy.
that's easier to remember. So if you go to getoverdrinking.com, isn't that nice? It just rolls off the tongue because
Sure
that's what we
is.
help people do. We want to help you get over drinking,
Get over it.
Uh-huh.
get over it, and move on with
Yeah.
your life. Getoverdrinking.com. That'll get you more details on how you can work with us. Is there anything else I'm missing?
As a special
Beautiful.
offer, if you do decide to work with us, I will share the mayonnaise story once I've been cued in as a special
Oh,
offer.
oh
I don't know
shit.
if you guys could
Yeah.
handle it.
I don't know either,
The
but
Pretty
Miracle
sad,
Whip.
actually. It's funny. It's sad. I mean, it's got all the elements to a good story.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
all
they
right.
all
could have
right,
some
I'll
sadness.
share that with you guys at some point. All right,
I'm
good
Beautiful.
kidding. I
stuff.
can't give that as a special offer, but maybe I'll tell an embarrassing story about myself instead. That'll be awesome.
There
There
we
you
go.
go. All
Your
right.
equivalent of the mayonnaise story.
That's
All right.
Appreciate you checking us out. This is Freedom from Alcohol. We'll catch you next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.